This animal moves so slowly that algae actually grows on its fur, but that slowness is exactly why it survives. In a jungle where everything is built for speed, the sloth decided to go in the opposite direction. It's a strategy so weird, it shouldn't work. But it does. Today, we're looking at the world's most successful glitch in nature. The secret isn't laziness, it's a math problem. Most mammals have high-octane metabolisms. They eat, they burn, they hunt. But the sloth eats leaves that have almost zero nutritional value. To survive on junk food, the sloth had to turn its metabolism down to the lowest setting possible. Their metabolism is roughly 40% slower than any other animal of their size. They are essentially running on power saver mode 24/7. Predators like jaguars and harpy eagles don't hunt by smell, they hunt by movement. By moving at a snail's pace, the sloth becomes invisible. To a predator, a sloth isn't a meal, it's just a vibrating clump of moss. But once a week, just once, the sloth does something that breaks every rule it lives by. It climbs all the way down to the ground to go to the bathroom. Now remember everything we just told you. The whole point of being a sloth, the entire strategy, is to never move, never be seen, never be detected, and yet, here it is. On the ground. Exposed. Vulnerable. Taking the longest bathroom break in the animal kingdom. Scientists tracked this, and what they found was brutal. 50% of all recorded sloth deaths happened during this one weekly trip. So the question that kept researchers up at night was simple: why? Why would an animal that has spent millions of years perfecting the art of staying still, voluntarily walk into danger every single week on a schedule? The answer is stranger than anyone expected. And it starts with what's actually living inside a sloth's fur. Look closely. That greenish tint isn't dirt, it's algae. Living, growing algae, using the sloth's fur as a garden. But the sloth isn't just a passive host, it actually encourages this. The sloth's fur has microscopic grooves, like tiny irrigation channels, designed specifically to help algae grow. And if algae wasn't weird enough, there are moths, sloth moths. An entire species of moth, called Cryptoses calipi, that lives nowhere else on Earth, just on sloths. They breed in the sloth's fur. They lay their eggs in the sloth's dung on the forest floor, and when the new moths hatch, they fly back up, into a sloth's fur. This is why the sloth goes to the ground. It's not just going to the bathroom, it's maintaining an entire living ecosystem. The moths fertilize the algae gives the sloth a green camouflage coating, making it even harder to spot. And some scientists believe the sloth may actually absorb nutrients directly through its skin from the algae. So that one dangerous weekly trip? It's not reckless. It's maintenance. The sloth is quite literally farming its own camouflage. On a schedule. But here's where the sloth stops being just interesting, and starts being genuinely uncanny. A sloth's muscles are roughly 30% less dense than any comparable mammal, 30% less muscle. That means climbing, which burns enormous energy for every other animal, costs the sloth almost nothing. And their grip? Their claws lock. Literally lock. The tendons in a sloth's claws are designed so that hanging requires zero muscular effort. A sloth can hang from a branch while completely unconscious, and not fall. They have even been found still hanging from branches, after death. Their entire skeleton is built around the assumption that they will never let go. Now, if you've been watching and thinking this is all cold strategy and survival math, meet the one moment where the sloth completely breaks its own rules. Baby sloths cling to their mothers for 6 months. 6 months of constant contact. And researchers noticed something unexpected: the mothers don't just tolerate it, they position themselves. They adjust their body angle specifically so the baby gets maximum sun exposure through the canopy gaps. They are essentially solar charging their babies. And when a baby sloth is orphaned, which happens, it lets out a sound that wildlife rescuers describe as one of the most distressing sounds in the jungle. There are now entire organizations dedicated entirely to rehabilitating orphaned sloths. Because once they lose that first 6 months of contact, they have to relearn, from scratch, how to be slow, how to conserve, how to exist. So let's zoom out. Because what the sloth actually represents is something that doesn't get talked about enough in nature documentaries. Every survival strategy in nature is essentially an answer to a question. The cheetah answered, "How do I win by being the fastest?" The chameleon answered, "How do I win by being invisible?" The sloth answered a completely different question. The sloth asked, "What if I just needed less? What if the whole game wasn't about getting more speed, more strength, more food, but about reducing what you require so completely that the game almost can't touch you?" That's not laziness. That's a philosophical position encoded into biology over 64 million years. Nature doesn't always reward the fastest or the strongest. The fossil record is full of things that were fast and strong and are now gone. The sloth's ancestors survived the Ice Age, they survived mass extinctions, they outlasted giant predators that made today's jaguars look like house cats. And they did it by doing less. On purpose. Strategically. Unapologetically. So next time someone calls you slow, next time someone tells you you're not moving fast enough, just remember, the sloth has been here for 64 million years. It's not in a rush, and neither are you.